Alright, what's up, Wasteland Builders? Here's another video featuring a ruined pre-war house. This was on my list of top 5 ruined houses in Fallout 76, and actually I think it might be now my favorite. This location is great for a lot of reasons, a lot of resources and things nearby, including just food that's already here, workbench that's already here, and the wood extraction point that you can use. But what I want to do here is actually, in this video is going to be 2 versions of a way to kind of make this house more usable, but still maintaining a certain immersion here. So one of them will involve not using any stairs, like building any stairs, and just using the existing structure and simulating floors using the carpets or the rugs. The other one will use the stairs instead and be able to build some real floors on there. Now there's pros and cons to each of these. I think in some ways it's nice not to use built stairs because they can be tricky, and if you place them down then you want to change stuff, sometimes you get stuck and you have to undo everything just to get it there. So what I did here is I really embraced the rundown nature of this house. I was able to get a nice fireplace in there. All this wreckage in here is just fantastic. It's very immersive and stuff. So off the edge here I did a little bathroom space and a restricted entry room next to that, which we'll see from later in the video. This space is really cool because it's got like the knocked over fridge. I was able to get this cooking stove in there. I put the table in and all that good stuff. So I've also got lighting in here. There's no electric lighting in here. These are all either like the candles or they're merges. They're little creative merges using things like the candles or lanterns to make lamps that just stay on without power. So that's cool. So what I want you to notice here is I didn't build any stairs and walls down below that would allow me to do specific floors. Now one of the reasons I decided to do it this way was because this house is so narrow, it doesn't fit like perfect floor sizes. So what I did instead was use these rug pieces to kind of overlap, and they simulate floors. Now I did it kind of haphazardly because I was just kind of messing around. If I would go back and do it again, I would do it a lot neater. A couple of them are pretty neat, but some of them, as you see, are just kind of thrown in there. Now, a disadvantage of this, of course, is you can't place walls on top of these things. So I wanted it to look junky and run down anyway, so I'm using those junk walls to kind of simulate that it was cobbled together. But this house has such beautiful stairs already, I really wanted that to be the main way that you get up and down and not have some auxiliary staircase to get to. So this space here too, one of the advantages of doing it this way is that you don't have to worry about mismatching roof pieces and wall pieces too much. So the slant of this roof is much steeper than the slant of the roofs that we can build in the game, right? So if that makes sense. So that's, I was going to have it open anyway because it's not going to close up. In the second version of this, you'll see what it ends up looking like. So I end up using the haunted house set a lot here. This is haunted house roof piece. And then the walls, as you'll see out here, are haunted house ones as well. The foundation pieces match really, really well. But this is really good because it's almost exactly the same color and siding pattern. And there's also this overgrowth with vegetation, which it's kind of annoying when it's out of context, I think, but in this case it makes sense because the existing building already has some of that stuff. So putting in those haunted house pieces made a lot of sense. Here's where you can do the wood extraction if you place your camp module close enough to this side. Of course, in doing so, you kind of lose out on some of the stuff that's on the other side of the house, but that's all right. And it just made sense for this house to have a garage, so I built this little garage here, especially because I had that cool truck out front and all the tires stacked up. It's like, why wouldn't there be a garage there? So I just used the garage for the, the normal stuff, storage, workbenches, all that good stuff. And here's what I did just to have a little fun with it. Secret room is the alien autopsy room. So that's cool. Some stuff I recently got that I'm just playing around with. And this goes back into the house where the bathroom is. So you'll see when we go back into the main room here, you'll see I've actually placed some roof pieces right here. This is just to illustrate the fact that you can see that if I put other roof pieces on there, it's going to extend out beyond the width of the house. And in the second part of this video, I'm actually going to embrace that and go with it, and you'll see what I did. But just to illustrate that this house is kind of too thin to really, use the existing build pieces that we have. So let's see. I think it's just a little tour around the camp here. Gotta have some water. I built a little garden area over there too, just for some plants and stuff. And you'll get a look on this side what it looks like. So there's already a kind of this broken down wall in the house. So again, I used a junk wall to kind of fill it up. I wanted it to look like someone had come here, after the war and just kind of used it and set it up as best they could. And so sort of surviving in here. I placed a couple of foundations here. You could actually kind of merge them into the house a little bit, which can be a little helpful. And it actually helped me place that junk wall down. So that's version 1. So let me switch over and do version 2. And this is version 2. So with version 2, the idea here is to use a staircase to then allow me to do floors and everything. So one of the things you might notice is that little bump out there on the side of the house is taller now because it has a staircase in there. And so you have to really change that a little bit. And I think it doesn't look as good. It also has this bump out on the other side because, as I said earlier, the width of this house is too narrow for the actual floor pieces. Now you can use those half width floor pieces if you want, but then the issue becomes that you can't use the walls, or you'll have some gaps anyway. So the difference is, do you want a gap like this kind of gap, or do you want a gap in the back, or something else? So there's always going to be something that's a problem just because this house is so narrow. Here what I did was I decided I'm going to just embrace this little bump out piece here, and I put a wall there and then destroyed it so it has sort of like this junky feel of it. And it also had the junk wall that was up there anyway. So let's get a tour of the inside, which is the first floor pretty much the same as version 1. So this is all the, just the great ruined inside. Instead of a bathroom here, though, now this opens up to where the stairs go. Okay, so it's kind of a storage area, and the staircase goes up. Got assorted things laying around. So what this allows you to do is to now create actual floors, and the actual floors allow you to set up rooms using walls, interior walls. So again, I have a busted up wall there just to keep with the immersion. So you see the floor pieces that I put down here. I will say, even doing it this way, I still had to patch in with the rug trick as well. You'll see it in the corner over there behind this wall. But one advantage here, as I said, is I was able to make distinct rooms. So right down here in this corner, two things happened. One, I couldn't place a real wall there because of the existing structure, and probably the same reason I couldn't place even a little floor piece in there. So I had to use the rug, and I had to use junk wall just to enclose this room anyway. So that's all right. This allowed me to do much more of a standard sort of bedroom here. I decided to have a little fun with these windows just because I recently got the greenhouse set, so I wanted to use it. It looks kind of cool. It's like like someone did a very modern update to an old house, I guess. But it works. Now, another thing that I did differently in version 2, as you see again, this is the area where I had to fill it in with the carpet instead of a floor piece. Another thing that this allowed me to do was to put some roof pieces here which act as floors. Now the new responders set is actually pretty cool for this. The flat roof looks pretty good in terms of just being a floor. You'll see it again when I turn the camera around. Got a bunch of cool stuff that already exists up here. Like, I was trying to kick this stuff down so it would like be in the rest of the build. I couldn't get it to go. Just kept bouncing back. Anyway, so you see on the left side here, I've got the flat roof pieces from the responder set, which look pretty good. But again, for some reason, I couldn't place them exactly, and I ended up having to fill in that gap with this rug trick anyway. So, all in all, I guess version 2 has a little bit of version 1 in it anyway. So, obviously the advantage of being able to do set rooms is cool, but I think I like the version 1 better. Just because it was a little bit more creative and a little more representative of that space. It didn't kind of bump out the space in any weird ways. So anyway, what do you think? Version 1 or version 2? Which one is better? Let me know. And if you have any questions, also let me know that too. Thanks for watching.